Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today we're going to start, I guess we can call it a tangent, a series of beers that are not craft beer, are Japanese, not craft, but from the four major companies, and also one other unusual characteristic. They are either low or non-alcoholic. And I'm going to be taking a look at all of the beers that the four Japanese majors make, and those four are Asahi, Kirin, Sapporo, and Suntory. And we'll look at all the available beers that are non-alcoholic from them, except one which hasn't quite made it to my area yet, which is a new one. Non-alcoholic beer, or low-alcoholic beer, of course, has a very long history. In medieval Europe, it was something that was called small beer, and it's been around in many countries for a long time. During Prohibition in the United States, beer was made under 5%, and of course, homebrew was made. So the temperance movement had an effect on the production of beer. Of course, it eliminated beer production, and people were looking for something that tasted like beer. In 1990, Anheuser-Busch produced O'Doul's, which became a big hit, and Miller had their Sharps beer as well. This kind of beer is very popular in certain countries in Europe, Germany in particular, and of course in the Middle East, where alcohol is frowned on or banned. It's non-alcohol beer is one half of all sales of beer. And we'll be looking at the characteristics of non-alcohol beer, and then in different countries which are popular brands, and then finally Japan. These beers are commonly lagers, but nowadays you'll find pale ales, IPAs, stouts, wheats, sours, all kinds. And I'll put a link to an article, a couple of articles actually, in the description section, so you can read more about this if you like. In many countries, non-alcoholic beer is by far the fastest growing sector, and that is true in Japan as well. Young Japanese are not drinking alcohol as much as their elders have, and beer sales have been declining for like 16 years in a row. And in fact, a bar opened in Tokyo called 0%, and it's apparently the first complete non-alcohol bar in the country. It's popular for its health benefits, of course, but unpopular among many people for a variety of reasons, and the most common is the taste defects. The processes that are used to make non-alcohol beer lead to a loss of aromatic esters, which are a prime feature of the aroma in beer, and also changes some other compounds as well. So basically, two ways of producing non-alcohol beer, and one of them is restricting fermentation, and the other is removing the ethanol alcohol from the beer. And restriction of fermentation can take a variety of forms. I won't go into all of them. Some of them are, for example, interrupting the fermentation, or cold fermentation to very low temperature fermentation to inhibit the production of alcohol. Special yeasts to try to produce a low alcohol beer. And ethanol removal, there are a number of ways to do it: vacuum evaporation, vacuum distillation, extracting through membranes, filtration, reverse osmosis, so many different types. And I read a few articles about this, and I didn't quite understand many of them. So in any case, breweries, there are a number of breweries that have produced beers these days, and you can find them listed many places, and you can find them in your market probably. Brewdog has produced Nanny State, Weihenstephaner, Hefeweizen, alcohol-free is another one. Rate Beer didn't allow them before, but now they do under low or no alcohol beer, and they have three categories: pale, dark, and wheat. And so a variety of very respected breweries are producing these. Weirdbeard, Tiny Rebel, Schlenkerla, the smoke beer mavens in Germany, Mikkeller, and here in Japan recently, Kyoto Brewing, one of my favorites, Kyoto Brewing, produced a 1% Saison, and which is just maybe a little bit too high to be considered, but actually I think on Rate Beer it's up to 3% for low alcohol. So, and the beer is called Rebel Without a Cause. In Japanese it's Wakagenotari, which is translated as youthful indiscretion. So a 1% Saison even. And some of the beers that we'll look at are made without fermentation. They're called beer taste inro, or beer taste beverage. And in general, the limit to be considered in this category is up to 0.5%. And we're going to look at a number of beers from these four Japanese breweries. In 2009, Kirin brought out their Kirin Free, which is a big hit. And then Asahi brought out their Dry Zero. Asahi Super Dry was the most popular beer in Japan. It still may be, I'm not sure. Super Dry. And they brought out Dry Zero, and that became #1 in sales for all non-alcohol beers, and I think it is currently. Asahi has 3 that we'll look at. Kirin has 4, and Suntory also has 4, and Sapporo 2. And we're going to look at 4 other beers that are contracted beers for the Japanese market. When there's one more by Asahi, which is called Beery, B-E-R-E-R-Y, B-E-E-R-Y, and it's been released in certain areas of Japan, but not where I live, so we'll look at that a little bit later. Okay, so we're going to start with Asahi, 3 alcohol-free beers from Asahi, and then we'll move on to Kirin, and then Sapporo and Suntory. Okay, and let's see what we get. Okay, I can't say I'm really looking forward to this, but we'll give it a go. Okay. All right, and now we have the third beer from Asahi, the third non-alcohol beer from Asahi, and it's called Asahi Healthy Style. And this one is 0 carbs, 0 alcohol, and 0 calories as well. Listed the zeros. Okay, and this one is completely unfermented. It's really a flavored soda, and the ingredients on the back, there's just so many to list. Dextrin, again, is the first ingredient, and some kind of peptide, hop, and caramel color, vitamin C, all kinds of stuff in this. So it's designed to be a healthy drink. On Rate Beer, this one has 1 rating only. It's at 2.1, and Untapped 79 ratings, 1.77. So this is the lowest of all the ratings we've had so far for any non-alcohol beer. And we'll get this one out of the way quickly. I'm feeling too healthy. Okay, and like the other beers, it's got a kind of a medium bright gold straw with, again, these sort of poppy seed little pastillas of carbonation popping off the sides of the glass. Very creamy sort of head. Oh. Okay. Wet paper, light workiness, some weeds. This is very thin in aroma, much thinner than the other 2 from Asahi. Yeah. Something light Light and cake light, maybe. Cake. Yeah, okay. Well, enough. Let's try the flavor. This is by far the worst. Basically tastes like what you'd imagine rusty water, kind of dirty water. It's just very minimal body. Some light bitterness, definitely, but overall the flavors are kind of harsh and metallic. Yeah, not really worthwhile at all. So it is a healthy drink, but you probably won't enjoy drinking it. It's up to you. So we've looked at 3 different Asahi beers, non-alcohol beers, and you can find these easily in any supermarket liquor store throughout Japan. I doubt if they're exported, but in any case. This is called Asahi Healthy Style, 0% carb, alcohol, and calorie beer, non-fermented, flavored soda, really. So another trend, of course, is hard seltzers. Those haven't really caught on in Japan yet, but I guess they're quite big in other countries, and this might be considered a beer seltzer. Yeah. So that's it for Asahi, and we're going to move on to Kirin in our next series. I hope you stick along for that. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll be looking again at more non-alcohol beers or low-alcohol beers from the 4 Japanese majors, and I hope you can learn something from that and maybe learn to stay away from them or to drink them if you want the health benefits. All right, that's enough for today. Take care. Bye-bye.